Gaming is one of the most popular sectors in a Web3 space, even though its market cap is still very small, around 20 billion, which barely makes it into the top 10 currencies currently based on the market cap. The potential is enormous. Yet many people actually end up losing money because they overlook many important factors they should actually consider. So I want to address that today, so stay tuned. Hello everyone, I'm Željko and welcome to CryptoGrid channel. So as I mentioned before, I want to fully dedicate this channel to Web3 gaming in the future, so if you're interested in it, I would appreciate if you consider subscribing. Thank you. I mentioned in the intro of this video that market size of the full gaming sector in a Web3 space is around 20 billion, which is much lower in comparison how actually popular gaming is, which obviously shows enormous potential. One of the things that hinders it is that actually people that come from web 2 gaming and people that are in the web 3 gaming look at things completely different. To be honest, I remember I was always a passionate gamer. I started with Sega when I was young. At some point computers weren't that affordable. I played Sony PlayStation, then I transitioned to PC. I played various games, various genres, and I realized that the approach of people in Web3 is completely different. One of the things that I noticed is that there are a lot of people that are investing in Web3 games that actually never play games. The reason why I think this is really bad is because they will never understand in-game mechanics, they will never understand if the economy is sustainable or not. They will not be able to see if people lose passion for that game really fast. Yeah, you can look at the retention rate on charts and stuff like that, but in my opinion, if you have first person impression of how do you like the game, would you still like it if there are no upgrades for a year or something like that? What would be your impression? So many people that are not playing the games are not able to realize that. Also, you can see that the games are having consistent updates, but if you're not playing that game, you won't be able to realize how impactful these upgrades are and if they're actually the right direction, if they're meaningful for the game, or the developers and team behind the game just want to show that they're actually doing something. And that's often the case in a Web3 gaming, since creating impression of we are doing something is something that will attract more investors and more growth for the game potentially. And when it comes to the gaming, it's not just about attracting investors. You need to be aware how the game will develop at high levels, how to incentivize the people on low levels, and you want to keep everyone in a game. Majority of the games actually become profitable by acquiring large amount of users, where they have super small percentage that are actually spending a lot of money on that game. But in a Web3 space, you have slightly different things happening. Since play to earn model is becoming more and more popular, you have a lot of people creating many fake accounts that are just looking how to extract value of the game. So if they succeed into it, the actual players will just have less earnings and they will be able to pull less value, or if they invested into the game, they will never be able to break even into it. And that was one of the first things that happened in 2019 2020 when web3 gaming became popular. I even remember that I personally invested a lot of money into one of them, and I did calculations if I get 55% win rate, I will break even. At the end I had 75% win rate and I lost 85% of the money that I invested into the game. So that's another lesson. If you're playing the game, you should never invest what you can't afford and what you're not willing to spend onto that game specifically. Also, I realized that a lot of people that are looking to invest into Web3 games, they're looking at the graphics of the game as a primary factor, and they're this will be the next big boom, and they're usually highly focused only on FPS games and only focused on graphics and visual aspects of the game while completely ignoring everything else. But if you look today, for example, people are still playing all Counter-Strike, which is probably 15 years old or even more. I don't play FA games personally, I just think that the graphics aspect is way overrated. I think in order to have a great game, it needs to be interesting on the first place. You need to easily onboard people and you need it to be simple enough for everybody to start playing it, but still complicated enough that it has some advanced mechanics that will actually separate it from the other games and make it unique in some kind of way. Another thing that I see is often overlooked is like the theme behind the game and some technical aspects of the game. Often in the games you will have some kind of coins that are like in-game currency that is like completely separate from their own token, and it's something to always take into consideration. Can they pretty much add free coins to the account that nobody realizes that? Will they extract the value of the game by themselves? These are the things that actually happen more often than you can imagine. It's a sad thing to say, but really often it will happen that the team behind the game will try to extract the value of the game by themselves as well, by pushing either themselves or their friends and giving them like free stuff where other people actually need to pay for them. So the best way to prevent this is to look like whether everything in game is NFT or not, because if you can buy the asset from the game and you can buy it like on some NFT marketplace as Magic Eden or OpenSea, these things are way less likely to happen. Another problem that I see really often is people either completely don't care about the current market conditions or they care too much. So that means that pretty much if they care too much about the market, they just assume that the price of some gaming coins will jump by default just because the other sectors are booming, or if they're completely ignoring it, they invest into gaming sector in a high downtrend. And actually, like majority of in-game economies are based on growth and sustainability of current players, because if there are no more players in a game, usually you will have like more assets created and obviously their price will go down, just a basic rule of supply and demand. And it's very difficult to create something that you have like solid enough drop rate that the game is still interesting for people, but to not create this issue with supply and demand. And this is why you actually need consistent inflow of new players while actually preserving the current ones. You also need to have people that are playing the game because it's interesting for them and that they are not just interested in extracting the value. Because if they're in a second group, you will have people playing for I don't know, half year. They will accumulate assets, sell them pretty much, and move on. And this is obviously not a healthy for any game. And this is why you can often see like a dead coin chart patterns. Another issue that I see with again actually playing the games is that you can sometimes see some games that are actually pretty successful and you can see their competitors making the games that are really similar to their game, and many people assume, oh, if this game is like, let's say 100 million market cap and the other one is like 1 million, that it will grow just because it's similar. But actually, like, what distinguishes these two games, that's the biggest factor, is that the first has already a player base, already a developed community, and the other one doesn't. So the other one actually needs some really innovative ideas if they're creating the game on a similar concept in order to surpass the first one, and they also need somehow to have a good marketing to attract the players that are playing the first game in order that they would consider switching to the other one. And also, when you're a bigger player, usually you can often even acquire smaller player, or you can like do the changes as they did usually way more efficiently just because you have more money and faster development. So I don't want to discourage anyone, but I never invested into a game before actually installing it and trying it out. And I would encourage you guys to do the same because I feel it's something that will actually help you on a journey. And I think majority of the people that will actually earn money by investing in gaming are the people that tried and played the games. You don't need to play these games 24/7, but you should stay up to date with it, and you should feel this is a interesting game that I actually wanna play. If you're not a gamer, this might be an issue for you, but then maybe investing into the gaming just isn't for you. And I really believe that the majority of the people that will actually earn money and that actually earn money from the gaming are actually people who are playing the games. Yeah, maybe I sound redundant on this, but I see so often people speaking about like the huge potential and things like that while they didn't even install or try these games. And when I actually try to install and look into the gameplay, you either experience like, oh, there are so many bugs in here, or this is like super simple, it's not interesting, and just like you can see immediately that this is something that will die within a month or two, and there is no way that it will last for a longer period of time. So I hope that you will take some of these things into consideration that I mentioned in the video. This is it for today. If you are not following the channel, I would appreciate if you give it a chance. You can also find me on Twitch in a description below, where I'm streaming multiple games pretty much daily. So thank you for watching. Have a great day. Stay strong and healthy. Bye.